Cheers! Welcome everyone to episode 1 of the Cheers Comics podcast, where two of your friends tip back a cold one each week and discuss their favorite characters, creators, collecting, news, and everything else under our illustrated sun. If you like that, grab a beverage, kick back, get comfortable, and join me, one of your hosts, Justin Jones, and the lean mean, when not so green, Brian Wayne.
Yo.
Brian, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm excited. Episode 1. We got a podcast.
Yeah, we're finally doing it.
Yeah, man, this is very exciting. We're going to talk about comics to other nerds and nerds alike, and maybe you're not a nerd and you want to get into comics. And, man, well, we got the podcast for you, that's for sure.
Well, if you did not listen to episode 0, which we recorded like an hour ago, then this is just two friends enjoying a cold drink, talking about comic books and everything related. You might hear a little bit of clinking in the background. That would be, our other third host, Jarvis the dog.
Or it's glasses and getting ice and beers and whatnot, because we drink too,
Sure, and sensitive, microphone sensitive.
Yeah, for sure. So there will be clinking. That's for damn sure.
All right, well, this is episode 1. So, Brian, why don't we kick off with a little bit of news? What do you have for us?
Well, we got a few stories, actually. To start, Sean Gordon Murphy went on the Twitters earlier this week and announced another White Knight story. And it's going to be called Batman Curse of the White Knight, and said to come out in summer of next year. So that's pretty exciting, because if you read the last White Knight story, which is pretty much the Joker becoming the good guy.
Oh.
Yeah. It was good stuff. So yeah, no, Sean Gordon Murphy making more moves, so that's exciting for sure.
So for me, as I like Batman. I love the character. Bruce Wayne is a stand-up fella. But I've never had any introduction to the White Knight. Tell me, why should I be interested in picking this up? Why is this exciting news?
Well, Sean Gordon Murphy just does a great job. Like in White Knight, it's essentially like it villainizes Batman publicly, makes the Joker look good, and he does what the Joker would do and plays the part of the good guy at that point. And I don't want to give too much away, but the Curse of the White Knight with that title, there's not much to be known beyond just a title and a release date at this point, but nevertheless, I'm excited about it because I know the last story was great for sure. Absolutely, gonna pick it up.
A good twist of two tales. I'm excited. I think I'll have to add this to my pull list.
Yeah, man, summer 2019.
All right, it's exciting. What else you got for us?
According to CBR.com, and now I'm starting to see it amongst other sources too, actually. Chuck Wendig, he's doing one of the Star Wars stories, Shadow of Vader, and he was fired for books 4 and 5 of the 5-part series, along with another unannounced Star Wars project too, because he was apparently not so nice on social media. He was being trolled because he's kind of a part of the group that is adamant on incorporating progressive characters and themes into comic books, and as we all know, there's people out there that don't like that, and with social media these days, he's going to get trolled just because he has a Twitter account. But according to Marvel, it wasn't handled very well, so they let him go. So
do we have a quote on actually what he said?
No, not that I'm going to dig up. It was, from what I understand, it was just he was responding to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
So, and vulgarity was a term that was used by Marvel to describe his tweets, and we all know that Marvel doesn't really deal with that type of stuff when it comes to dealing with potential fans. Like, they don't want to push anybody away. So
they're crowd pleasers for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think yes, Shadow of Vader. Yeah, never mind. I take that back. It could be a Marvel title, but nevertheless, Marvel didn't want him, so he was fired. And I don't know if any, when they're gonna announce this other project, unannounced project with another writer, and I'm not sure if they've named the writer for issue 4 and 5 to finish out the series or not. But
Yeah, so speaking of that, what do you think this means for the series? Do you think it's going to finish strong? Do you have
oh yeah,
a lot of good artists in their back pocket?
oh yeah, for sure.
Or, sorry,
For
authors.
oh yeah, absolutely. There's a plethora of people out there that they can bring on. It's not a big deal. It's
So
just
you think this is still a good series, one that is worth picking up if somebody hasn't started yet?
I haven't read it. I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Okay.
But anything that has to do with Vader, I'm sure is incredible.
It's already got my interest.
So yeah, right on. Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, old Chuck Wendig looking for a job.
So good luck to him. We hope he finds on speed.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And then more news from CBR.com today. I guess they announced. I mean, it's not huge by any means, but I guess there's going to be a quote-unquote all-new, all-different Superboy to appear in this next issue of Superman. It's being written by Brian Michael Bendis, and there was a pretty intriguing illustration of Superboy looking pretty pissed. So we'll see what he's about. He's been out in space because Superman's daddy took him and Lois to get away from some shit. And Lois came back recently, and everyone's like, where the fuck is Superboy? And now, I guess that's what makes this news, is there's fucking Superboy in issue number 7. All new, all different. So, yeah, and that's what I got for news.
Alright, well this might be a little bit of left field, but I think the last thing I read for Superman was, I'm really rusty on this, but another Kryptonian lands from space, and it ends up being this little boy. Superman learns he's Kryptonian, says that he's gotta raise him, but then decides that, he can't do it, so the government takes him back, and then Lois and him decide that, maybe they should, maybe that they were destined to do this, and I didn't ever finish out the story, but is it related to that?
No. I'm gonna say probably not, but I cannot say for sure. This is, like I say, just issue number 7 of this title. And to be perfectly honest, this is the only Superman I've ever read in my life. I've got a confession: Superman is my least favorite superhero. But that is changing, because Brian Michael Bendis is one of my favorite writers in the world. And when he left Marvel to go write for my least favorite superhero, or who at the time he was writing for my favorite superhero, Iron Man, I was crushed. But now he's writing Action Comics and Superman, and I decided to start Superman. And it's been incredible. It has. It's been a great story. I haven't read Action Comics, and a lot of people say that Action Comics is 10 times better than Superman. So I'm probably gonna put Action Comics on my list now. But Superman's been great. This Rogol Zar character, this super evil bad guy that a lot of people say is worse than Doomsday. Like, that's some shit right there.
I'm really excited to hear you say that Superman is worth checking out. I've always wanted to like him, but again, he was always this character that was just invulnerable. He just couldn't be beaten. It was uninteresting. The danger never felt real to him. It was always just like, well, how more fantastically could he save the world today?
Well, now his vulnerability is his family, is what it comes down to.
See, and that's kind of always how I felt about Spider-Man, but lately, I've been reading a little bit of Spider-Man, and I've really come to love the character and the hijinks he gets into, and how human he really is. And so I think if my opinion can be changed for the Wonder Boy of Marvel, perhaps it can be for DC as well.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, it was a tough sell for me, and then I started reading it, and I was like, well, sold. Issue 1. Put it on the pull list, man.
Well, I was already interested, but you just sold me. I think this will now be on my permanent pull list.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. And with this return of Superboy, it's not like he's been gone too long, but
right.
Nevertheless, they haven't, he left, and then it's like Brian Michael Bendis just stopped talking about him, and a lot of people didn't like that. They're like, well, this is some shit. Like,
really?
What the fuck? Well, you can't just get rid of Superboy. And now he's just getting boom. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
I'm curious.
I kind of want to continue this conversation, but we'll wait just a little bit longer to end the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
Since
for
we're already
sure.
there, we're talking about last week's overview. What do you have last week that you feel is worth talking about?
Oh, last week. Man, I read some books last week. I think I had 15 titles I read last week.
That's respectable.
Yeah, 15 books last week.
Just under twice the amount I've had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
For sure, man. I'm gonna start out with Farmhand.
Farmhand. I have been loving Farmhand. In fact, so much that since I'm kind of out of Farmhand to read, I've been going back and reading Chew because Rob Gilroy's name is on the cover. And
Right.
I'm also loving that. So what is so exciting about Farmhand this week that you have to talk about it?
Well, Farmhand number 4. The story's titled Between Worlds. Gilroy on pencils and story. Taylor Wells did the color, and the color's incredible. Gilroy did the cover. This was kind of a choppy issue, to be honest. I know it's just setting up something amazing for issue number 5, I'm sure. But really what I got out of this is there's an election for mayor going on, and it seems like the candidate's like one of them, the guy that's already mayor is rerunning or going for re-election. I don't know politics good, but I like comics, man. But he's just this like straight shooter, and then his running mate is some like hippy dippy yogi, and
Certainly.
he's like
Flower Lady.
His like campaign trash is like, oh yeah, if you want your tax dollars spent on yoga mats and stretchy pants and blah blah blah. I was like, you got my vote for re-election. I don't like yoga. And I like jeans, not stretchy pants. But anyways, so that was like a part of the story. I don't know where they're gonna take that. And it kind of, I believe that the end of the story ended with one of the main characters like knocking on the door of the yogi running mates. I think that's who that was. Can't say for sure. You read it? Is that who that was?
I actually didn't quite get to the end before we started the podcast, so
Oh,
I still
that's-
have
oh,
a
shoot,
little
yeah.
bit left to catch up. But I will really agree with you that it was a little bit slower of an episode. There wasn't as much plant cannibalistic hijinks as usual.
No,
but
no. It started out with like a war flashback, and Sergeant Jenkins gets her widow wig blown off, and she says she wants to go home, and that's where she gets sent. And then fast forward, she's walking, and I'm not sure where they were going with that reference, other than the fact that, she now has a metal leg, which they reveal later because she gets in a bar fight, and dude goes to stab her and breaks his knife, and she just continues to kick the shit.
they definitely portray her as a badass character.
Oh no, she's a bad bitch for sure, man.
I think what I really appreciate from Gilroy's work in this comic is that they do show character development, and it's nothing huge on a scale, but it still shows interest. Like, I'm still with these characters. They introduced me a couple more with a good beat, and they have more people at their disposal to throw in the next issue that I'm more excited than ever. I'm really excited to see where he can go with the series.
Yeah, this was definitely an issue about character development, because they also did a flashback with like her brother and everything, and her dad is giving her brother his first rifle, and he's like, it's kind of like this epic moment for a second. He's like, I'm gonna tell you something that my daddy told me and his daddy told him, and it's like, okay, what's he gonna tell him? And he's like, don't shoot your dick off. and it just like goes, and he's older now.
Lessons we can all live by, truly.
Yes, absolutely. But he fast forward the last time you see this character, I believe he's using that same rifle to blast holes in some coyotes' faces. So you're gonna see a spot of character development there too. Like his daddy giving him his first refill. Not his first refill, his first rifle. And then him using it, like I said, to defend his property. And yeah, no, it was a good read. Like I said, it wasn't anything hyper attractive. Like this wouldn't be the issue I introduced somebody to this story with. Like out of the
start with number one.
yeah, for sure. But it's go out and get it if you're interested for sure. Like read 1 through 4. Don't skip 4. It's good. I'm sure it's leading up to something amazing. I gave it a 7 out of 10 overall.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I can't argue with that rating only because I haven't finished it yet. So I guess I would agree with a 7 out of 10 because I've finished 7 out of 10 of it.
Right on, man. Right on. The next book I read was another indie. It was
The Devil Within by Black Mask Comics.
Yeah, Black Mask. I'm not too familiar with this label, so.
As am I.
Yeah, no, but the name intrigued me. The color's cool, and I was really hoping that the cover reflected the art on the inside, and it absolutely does. Yeah, no, that's what the art looks like all throughout the inside too. I love that about a number 1 is when you get the.
It's a good sign of what you're in for.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But the writer on that, Stephanie Phillips, the artist is Mon House, colorist is D. I want to say it's Knife, but it could be Kniffy. I don't know. I don't know. No.
Yeah, Cunniffe. Kniffy. Yeah, I mean, if you know, please get a hold of us.
Yeah, shoot us an email if you know how to pronounce it. But yeah, she also did the cover along with Manhouse as well. So I'm just good. Yeah, obviously, like I said, the art reflects the inside. But the story, it follows Michelle and Samantha, who are newly engaged, and they're moving into this new house. And one night they're coming home, and Michelle's a little drunk, and they're getting ready to take advantage of each other, and one of them goes into the bathroom, and they have like a whole hall full of mirrors because they're still moving in.
Oh, I didn't realize it, but I actually read that this week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and like it's a lesbian couple, and then she starts seeing like a reflection in
exactly.
she's washing her face.
Yeah.
And then the next morning she leaves, and then she gets that jury summons. Yeah, I did read this. This is really intriguing.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is staying on my pull list for sure, and it's cool that it's number 1, so it's early to hop on. But
Definitely.
yeah, no, it's good. Like, and it ends like you kind of think at first like this might be kind of slow. Is this like a relationship story? And then you realize at the end, like, no, this shit's about to get real. Like, it's good. Michelle kind of, I believe she's like possessed by the end of it. She's spewing blood and all that good stuff. But yeah, no, it was good for sure. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Devil Within by Black Mask.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that one. I did read that one, actually digitally, and I should have wrote it down. I don't know why I didn't, but definitely interested to see where that story can go.
Oh, for sure.
What else you got for us?
Next one is another indie by Boom Studios. Go Power Rangers number.
Go Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin. Go Power Rangers number 13 by Ryan Parrott. Eleonora Carlini on pencils and Raul Angulo coloring. And on the cover we got Dan Mora. Dan Mora on the cover.
That is a pretty cool looking cover. I like that a lot.
No, it's super dope for sure. This one was not 100%. Well, yeah, there was just a certain part in this story. Well, one page in particular that I just didn't understand. I think it's something that relates back to another issue that maybe I just kind of, like, something slipped my mind. But other than that, like, this is a pretty strong issue. And what it comes down to is Rita comes down to earth like Rita does. This time she has something to unlock another dimension, and she brings down her gang, Goldar and Finster and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Finster creates this like giant putty monster and pretty much keeps Zach, Billy, and Kimberly occupied.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rita ends up opening this portal and then bouncing out, and the portal ends up sucking Trini and Jason into this new dimension. But Jason's wearing yellow and Trini's wearing red, and neither of them can morph. And then the last page is pretty much just like a whole bunch of bad shit coming at them quick.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I think in the next book we're gonna see a pretty badass putty fight. Like giant
Alright.
putty, 3-on-1 giant putty versus, oh man. And then we got two like Freaky Fridays going up against a whole world of some bad shit coming at them.
Man, Power Rangers. That takes me way back. That was probably my second favorite franchise as a kid, second only to the Ninja Turtles. Man, I haven't thought about them in years. Is this a series you would recommend for me to pick up?
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah?
Go-Go's awesome. It is. It's been very good. I was surprised. Like, I got into it during the whole Shattered Grid thing, and that started with, like, issue number 8, so I haven't read 1 through 7. And it was my introduction to Power Rangers comics, my first time reading Power Rangers comics. I didn't know what the hell I was getting into.
Yeah.
But the Shattered Grid crossover event between Go-Go and Mighty Morphin was awesome. And then, now we're getting the world after this event, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good. It is. It's absolutely good.
Well, excellent.
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7. The art's amazing, and I know it's setting up something
I think
spectacular.
you've kind of sold me on this one. I think this will be a definite interest as far as trades go for me.
Dude, I'm gonna sell you on all of these books.
Yeah,
man.
well, my wallet only goes so deep. You can go
It's
to
alright,
patreon.com/Cheers for Comics, by the way.
yeah, let's fix that. Let's you guys support us, and we'll just have that much more content because Justin's pull list will be able to grow.
Hashtag Justin's Pull List. Let's make it a thing.
Patreon.com. Cheers to comics.
Alright, what else you got for us, Brian?
Phantasmagoria #1. The story is called The Ghost Sense.
Now, allow me to say, this cover and that name alone already have me really interested. I hope you have a lot of good things to say.
Well, let's start out. I gotta give the creator some credit, man. El Torres is the author, and Angel Hernandez is on pencils, cover done by Angel Hernandez. The art on the outside somewhat reflects the art on the inside.
That already excites me. I really like the simplistic yet strong character that this art gives. The strong contrast between the colors. I really like it.
Well, this is a book that I don't really recommend you throw your money at if you've got a deep pull list and you're pinching pennies. It's by Amigo Comics, by the way. I want to give the label a shout out for sure.
Comics. I've never heard of them. Like, what else do they have that you know?
No clue, never heard of
No?
them.
All right. Well, hey, it's great to hear some new names in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's essentially a horror mystery, but it's like one of those number ones that just doesn't really give you a whole lot in the beginning. I didn't really have much to take from it, to be honest.
So you think this is something more situated for the long game rather than the instant hook?
Yes, I would say don't start out with issue 1. Like maybe wait for the first set of trades to come out and start out with volume 1 of the trades. I have a feeling overall it's gonna be good. But I did take it off my pull list right after I read it, just because I don't think it's something else that I need to throw another $4 a week at is all.
I haven't been disappointed with it quite as much as you. So maybe when the trade comes out, maybe I'll make that investment. Maybe I'll jump in there. It sounds like something maybe I should be to, but that's
seriously.
Just from the cover. You never read a book by its cover.
The art was good. It was. The art was great, but like I said, I think it's a book that needs to be read like a few issues at a time is all. And I'm gonna get the trades myself because I'm still very intrigued by the art, and Just the name Phantasmagoria sounds awesome.
That sounds like it would look great sitting on my coffee table. So the next one is one that I've actually been really interested in myself. I haven't read anything yet, but all signs point to greatness. So the next one you have is Bully Wars, Brian. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Bully Wars, more image by Scotty Young, who's more known for his art, but he's been dabbling in writing lately. He's also doing Deadpool too, but that's for another time. But Bully Wars #2, written by Scotty Young, Aaron Conley on the arts, Jean-Francois Boileau. I don't speak French, but if I had to guess, that's how you say it. On colors, cover by, I actually have one of the variant covers. My LCS with the variant cover C, and this is by Matthew Allison. So yeah, it's a great cover. But anyways, so Spencer and friends are getting Rufus, who is their former bully. Now that they're in high school, he's being bullied himself. He doesn't really meet the standards of high school bullies, so he feels left out. Because he's a fucking bully. He wants to be a bully. But when he doesn't get an invite to Bully Wars, which is pretty much this competition to decide, King of the Bullies, which is actually held by the school. I think it's, Rottenville Elementary or something like that. So it gives you an idea of how shit this school is. But
sounds like some Scooby-Doo, Coolsville kind of shit. And
it's fucking
already
weird.
into it.
Like, I wasn't, too keen on the first issue, but I have a lot of faith in Scotty Young, and I really like the art, so I gave issue 2 a shot, and I'm glad I did, because I'm in now, for sure. So, yeah, no, it's, so Rufus goes to the kids that he used to bully, because, they're smart, and he pretty much says, help me get in, and if I win King of the Bullies, then I'll make sure that you guys are off limits from being bullied.
Sounds like an option we all could have loved.
Fucking deal. Yeah, fucking deal. So, right off the bat, Rufus doesn't even, it's one thing to, help him win the competition, but he doesn't even have an invitation. So he gives, Spencer takes this envelope to, I think it's the gym teacher. He's the guy in charge of the Bully Wars. And gives him this envelope to pretty much blackmail him, and in the envelope is a picture of him playing. It's pretty much D&D as a kid. Yeah. So gonna blackmail him as a nerd, and he was like, "Oh, he's fucking in." Yeah. No, Rufus. Here's his invite.
Fucking nerd.
Playing
D&D and shit.
Yeah, I know, huh? But, so yeah, and that's pretty much, the whole thing. And there's, this whole montage of Spencer, profiling all of the other people in the competition, explaining weaknesses and strengths of each of his competition and things like that.
Doing the nerd guy shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but it was a great story. I gave it an 8 for sure. The art's amazing. This Aaron Conley dude, I want to see more of his stuff. And the story was on point. I think I gave issue 5 a 6. So
that's really exciting. Again, I'm loving this indie shit right now. And again, you're gonna hear me say this probably 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times on the show. But I'm a big fan of trades. As soon as this one comes out with the first volume, I think it's gonna be a must-buy for me. Everything I've seen, from the art to the little clips of some of the segments, I'm in. It seems interesting.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. I highly suggest it.
So, of course, our next comic needs no introduction. He's one of the biggest kids on the playground from DC Comics. Superman. We have issue number 4. Brian, do you want to tell us about this?
Issue number 4 of Superman. The Unity Saga, Part 4. Brian Michael Bendis writing the story. Ivan Reis on art with Joe Paedo and Adam Hughes as well. And Alex Sinclair on the colors. Ivan Reis, Joe Prado, and Alex Sinclair on the cover. This was one of the out of the 4 issues of Superman, it's been the weakest so far, and I know it's setting up something awesome for sure, but I didn't know what the hell was going on. There was a lot of flashbacky stuff, and my brain doesn't process the flashbacky stuff very well, especially when it's like every other page, I feel, or like every 2 pages.
Sure, it can be kind of hard to follow along with some of the segments.
Yeah, there's definitely a fight between Superman and Rogol-Zar going on, but I don't know in like what dimension or I just like I said, I really don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
The art's incredible. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the book other than there's not a whole lot to specifically talk about, if that
Okay.
makes any sense.
Well, tell you what, this is already on one of the ones that I plan on putting on my pull list. Let me catch up. Let me read this one. And let's continue this conversation again next week. Maybe we can pick back up and have a little bit of a deeper dive on this one.
Yeah, I think this is a bi-weekly. I don't. This might be a monthly book, so we might be talking about this again in November. If not, it'd probably be the end of October. We'll see.
You know what? Sounds like a date, but I have read this next one, and I think it's a really fun read. I think it's going to cause a lot of little controversy with amongst the fan. It's really taking a big parody punch at comic books, but it's also kind of a love letter. Next we have like Mojo from the X-Men Black series.
Alright, well, yeah, X-Men Black, they're doing a bunch of one-shots right now with villains.
And I'm loving them.
Yeah, last
The
week.
second one, right?
Yeah, this is the second one. The last one was.
Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto. And that was Chris Claremont doing that one. But
And as everybody knows, I am a huge Magneto fan. So,
right?
again, that one just catered to my fandom. But Mojo, if people don't know that much about him, can you give us a quick little introduction?
Well, real quick, I mean, before we get into that, I want to make sure I give the creators their due. Scott Aukerman is the writer on this. Nick Bradshaw and Andre Lima Arujo on the art. Guru Effects coloring it. And J. Scott Campbell and Sabine Rich doing the cover. So, obvious. I mean, J. Scott Campbell. Ugh, such an amazing cover. Mojo. Honestly, I'm not a 100% sure what Mojo's about. I know he's all about like the tech world and. Right. I don't know. He likes TVs. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna act like I know something I don't know anything about.
My knowledge might be really outdated here, but I know he streams to what's called like the Mojoverse, which is I believe in the world of the Wild Ways or the Wild World, something about that. And he's always been like a big villain of the X-Men. Maybe not big to their eyes, but to his eyes for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. No, he's definitely an X-Men villain for sure. I mean, that's probably why he's part of the X-Men Black series. But this is this is a story of Mojo trying to get the girl, man.
And I was actually rooting for the villain nearly the whole time.
Oh, for sure. I totally was. I mean, if you don't know what Mojo looks like, he fucking ugly.
Real ugly, big bulbous, just fat. He's got these like cybernetic protrusions all over his head, like almost like wannabe dreadlocks.
Yeah, for sure. He's fucking disgusting.
Damn spider leg chair though. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, they talk about spider legs a lot. But yeah, no, it's Mojo trying to get the girl, and he, ends up saving her life. He stops a half set in it, which is kind of a big fucking deal. But I like the fact that he's like making fun of a lot of what comic books are, have become, or have been criticized a lot about lately. Like this whole like renewal. They even like quote the word rebirth to kind of give like a stab at DC as well.
I did love that. I didn't catch that until you pointed it out, but it's quite a fun little Easter egg.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
And the spitball guy. I mean, if that's not an obvious parody, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, it was a good read. So far, it's been my favorite out of the X-Men Black one-shots. I gave it a 7. I mean, the art was fantastic all the way through, and I really liked the fact that they made me pull for Mojo, Because the last book I read was Mojo. Like, I hated that fucker. So
Definitely. And this is the second of a string of 5 one-shots. Right?
yeah, we get I think we get Mystique this week, but we'll talk about that later.
Again, I'm looking forward to that. I love the last one, love this one. So up next is something that a couple people might have seen in the most recent X-Men film, Logan. We have X-23. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, man, X-23, number 5. Story's called 2 Birthdays and 3 Funerals. This is part 5 of that story. Obviously, math says that this is, continuing from issue 1. And Marco Tamaki is writing, Juan Campbell, and Marcio Fiorio. Yeah, I said it right the first time. On art with Nolan Woodward, coloring, Mike Choi and Jesus Brutov did the cover. So this has been a really fun story. It has a lot with possession and Gabby's other clone sisters. Oh, are they dead? Are they not dead? I don't know. But I mean, with between all the stories they've been in, they fucking die a lot and then they don't die, but they've been a great ongoing villain for Laura and Gabby.
Sure, certainly. Now, myself, of course, as I've already mentioned, being out of comic books for so long, I know next to nothing about X-23 other than what some of my comic book friends have told me, after Logan when I went investigating. This seems like something I could really like. Is this something you recommend? Is this on par with the Wolverine, or at least the Logan legacy?
Dude, X-23 is one of my favorite. She's my favorite female superhero. She's amazing. When she was in all different Wolverine before they rebooted it to X-23 again because Wolverine's coming back with the return of Wolverine. So she's back to X-23 instead of being called Wolverine now. But dude, she's been awesome, and more than just her, like Gabby, her daughter, and Wolverine's granddaughter it's such a fucking cool team, man. It is. It's all the way through.
I'm so happy to hear that.
But both writers that have helmed her that I've read, it's been amazing.
Yeah, we're only 5 issues in. I think that now would be a great time for me to jump in and really see what's new that the X-Men have to take.
For sure, and I'm pretty sure this issue 6 is going to start a new storyline, so that's probably a good time to jump on to. I can't say for sure, but this last one here seemed pretty concluding to me on this story. So,
well, a little bit of a spoiler. We can talk about more of this at the very end of our show under speculations. But as for now, Brian, I recommend that we take a break. What do you think?
Oh, why not?
All right, man. Well, we will be... And we're back. We're talking about our last week overview. Next up on the agenda, we have the Amazing Spider-Man. Brian? Brian, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
It's okay. It's episode 1. Amazing Spider-Man number 7 was...
Good to meet you, by the way.
Yeah. You too. Amazing Spider-Man number 7. By Nick Spencer. Art by Humberto Ramos and Victor Olazaba, and Edgar Delgado doing the colors. The story is a Trivial Pursuit Part 2. Humberto Ramos and Edgar Delgado. Good lord, whiskey. Did the cover, and it's a cool cover. It's a lot going on there. But anyways, this was an incredible story. So it takes place at the Bar with No Name, which is pretty much the hangout for villains, where weapons are welcome. And Boomerang, who is a supervillain, but he's also Peter Parker's roommate, realizes that Peter Parker knows a fuck ton about Spider-Man because, he photographs him. So Boomerang convinces Spider-Man to go out because he needs to make some money. Peter Parker's broke. And it turns out that it's Spider-Man trivia night at the bar with no name. So in the last issue, you see, Spider-Man wins, or Peter Parker wins. And then it comes out that by the end of the night, Wilson Fisk actually has a hit out on Boomerang because Boomerang crossed him. So he puts out a call to all these villains, so they're all partying, and they all get this text saying, "Oh well, Boomerang, there's money on his head." So all
Trouble in the old saloon.
yeah, for sure. So Boomerang at this point, after everyone turns on him, is trying to protect Peter Parker. Obviously, Peter Parker can't, Spider-Man out. So Boomerang's like protecting Peter Parker, and it's kind of a cool thing actually. Like even Parker mentions throughout the story, is like we actually oddly make a pretty good team. And because for like the first 6 issues, like Parker hates the fact that Boomerang's his roommate, but he's broke.
He's got to pay the rent.
Exactly. So, yeah. Long story short, Boomerang and Parker get away, and then it just kind of like scene changes into a room with Kingpin and a bunch of his goons, and he's fucking pissed that they got away. Like they were right there. He was right there. There's no reason, but he did. He got away. And like all of a sudden, this figure walks in, and just kind of summarizing here, everybody dies except for Fisk, and a part of everybody also includes Fisk's precious Vanessa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, and then this figure turns out to be the new character that was revealed in issue 1 that still does not have a name. But this is like a full reveal of this character now, and dude, this character design for this dude is fucking badass.
Yeah?
Fucking, I like the Batman who laughs. I love this dude with no name. I really think that issue 8 could. I hope that issue 8 that we get a name. I do. But I don't know. Like, he hasn't been seen again since issue 1. And now that he's seen, he's with Kingpin. And Kingpin is being puppeted by this guy. Like, is under this dude. Kingpin is under someone's thumb. Like, that's a bad motherfucker. And the fact that he's still working for him, even though he killed his precious Vanessa. Like, you really, I mean, obviously Kingpin knows who this dude is.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, oh man, it was such a strong issue.
Is your love for this current series because of Fisk? Because I know as far as Marvel goes, this is one of your favorite supervillains.
No, it's not, because the first time I've seen Fisk introduced was at the end of issue 6. And I was excited about that. I was like, oh shit, we're getting some Kingpin.
Now, as we've already discussed privately off of Mac, I'm really interested in Spider-Man right now. I've never been the hugest fan, but I've converted. I've seen the error of my ways, and I'm really enjoying what I've had. This, again, I'm going to say this a lot today. This is on my list. I'm doing a lot of catching up, and I'm hoping by next week, or maybe 2 weeks from now, that I'll have a lot more to put into this. But do you think this is definitely a must-have?
Spider-Man's probably top 5 Marvel right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of people gave Marvel shit for getting Nick Spencer on as a writer, but at the same time, those same trolls hated Dan Slott before him, and Dan Slott is the longest run of Spider-Man out there, so Nick Spencer is going to do just fine, and he is doing just fine. This is a version of Spider-Man I didn't think that I liked, and as it turns out, like, I really like the story a lot.
So you think Nick Spencer is going to be a next home voice or home name for me?
He's definitely up there for sure. Like, he also did that Captain America story. What was it? Secret Empire, where Captain America is a secret Hydra agent. Blah blah blah.
Yes, I actually haven't read those, but I've heard all about that, and I can't actually judge on the writing or the art, but just the idea of it just sounds unwelcome to me, to be honest.
Well,
But
a lot of
maybe I'll get there.
a lot of people say that was not the title that Spencer was supposed to do. Like a fun, silly story like Spider-Man is
Sure.
more up his alley, and I really like this. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get through Secret Empire. I wasn't a huge fan.
No.
So when I heard that he was coming on a Spider-Man, I was a little reluctant, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, Marvel knows what they're doing, and if it's bad, they'll change it. And dude, I hope he does 150 issues of this. I do. I really like this. I like the fact that he's introducing a new character. I like his formula of like spreading out the story and still making it interesting all the way through. And he's giving, like I said, I don't like this like love story take of Peter Parker because Mary Jane's
Sure.
a thing now. But I'll be damned if it's fucking interesting. I like it a lot. I do.
Excellent. Well, again, I can't wait to read that. And of course, if I'm going to be reading anything in the Spider-Man universe, it only makes sense that I also catch up on what's the latest news in Venom, which is our next on our list. Brian, again, take it away.
Venom number 7. Story is Oversight. Part 1. Donny Cates writing their shit. Ryan Stegman on the art with J.P. Meyer inking it and Andres Mosa doing the colors. What a fucking team, man. This everything about this is so good.
I've got to agree. I've only been into comics for maybe just under a month again, and I already know who Donny Cates is. He's just doing some fantastic work out there. So, what is so new about Venom in this week that is so interesting?
So, Reed Richards, but not that Reed Richards. Another Reed Richards who goes by the Maker. And I remember reading him in another story not too long ago, within the last couple of months, but I forgot which one. But anyways, he has Eddie all tied up, and he's looking for information about a sample that was stolen from his lab. Eddie doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, but it turns out this sample is from it's a surviving part of the symbiote dragon that Venom beat not too long ago, and this symbiote dragon was created by Null, the god of symbiotes, who was introduced recently in Venom number 3. But anyways,
also the same dragon that we see in Venom.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember, to be honest. Don't. But this dragon's like incinerated or whatever, and Venom just carries on. He's like, I got the motherfucker. But as it turns out, there was a little piece of it that survived, and the Maker and his corporation swooped it up because why wouldn't you if you're a bad guy, you know? Symbiote dragon, but why not? Well, then it's revealed that Eddie's Venom is essentially dead. The symbiote's still attached to him, but he has no more personality. The personality of Venom is dead. It'll still react, like the Maker like throws a knife at him after he's like, oh yeah, Venom's dead, and Eddie's like, what the fuck? And then he throws a knife at him, and the symbiote comes up and saves his life.
Sure.
And he's like, but
still has an instinct.
Right. But nonetheless, he realizes, he's like, wait, I'm not saying we anymore, there's no more us, it's just me now.
So Eddie is completely in charge now.
Yeah, but at the same time, not. Like, the thing's still, it's reactive, let's put it that way. We don't get a whole lot about it. I mean, it's a 20-page story, so they can only say so much at this point. But Eddie is not happy about this, and at this point he's like, well, okay, I'll help you if you can help me get Venom back. And he's like, well, that's impossible. And he's like, well, why is it impossible? He's like, well, you have to go to the Hive, and there's only one person that's ever gone to the Hive and survived. And he's like, well, who the fuck is it? And he's like, well, it's Flash Thompson, which is and he was like, okay, and he's like, well, how is this impossible? He's like, well, because Flash Thompson is dead. And he was like, what? And that's where the story ends. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's fucking good. Good stuff. Donny Cates strikes again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10, man. It was good stuff. It's staying on the list. Staying on the list. Moving along, we got Immortal Hulk number 7.
I have been loving the series so far.
Dude, it's good, man. Like, it's as far as like the tone of the story, it's jumping around for sure, but I think it's jumping in a good way. It's not really jumping, it's just shifting.
I feel like it's taking little hops into the story. Like, here's a little bit, progress, a little bit, progress.
Right, it started out as a horror, and it's not necessarily a horror now. Now it's a Marvel comic, and it's good, man. Al Ewing's still writing it, Joe Bennett, and Roy Jose are on the art with, oh man, what's his name? Paul Mounts doing color, and Alex Ross, the king, doing the cover.
I love this cover.
So it's the Avengers fighting the Hulk and losing.
You wouldn't be able to tell that by looking at the cover, though.
Yeah, right. Tony goes to his ultimate backup plan, and the whole time everyone's like, "No, it's not time." But his backup plan is called Code Helios, and it seems like it's essentially just like a laser beam meant to just fucking kill the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But along with that comes a lot of casualties, and at the same time, killing the Hulk, which the dude's just back from the dead. Like, he didn't even get to say what's up to your boy. You know?
A little tough.
Yeah, for sure. So everyone's trying to talk him out of it, but Tony's the man. He's like, "Fuck you, I'm doing it anyway." And he clears everyone out, and he fucking zaps the green out of the Hulk and kills him. But then the body, I forget how it transitions into it, but the body of the Hulk gets sent to Secretary Ross, which we know that can't be good news.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the end of the comic, you see, the Hulk, he's regenerated, but every body part's in, a jar, his head's in a jar, but very much alive. And, the arm and I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, no, it ends on a pretty cool cliffhanger. Definitely staying on the pull list for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this next one is one that I'm almost caught up to you with. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Avengers. What do you think about this week's?
Oh man, I don't have enough good things to say about this book. Avengers number 9, Defenders of the Deep's the name of the story. Possibly my favorite writer ever, Jason Aaron. David Marquez doing pencils and Justin Ponser doing color. Marquez and Marcio Meniz did the cover. That's a super cool cover, man. Namor. Beware of Namor. Fuck, man. So it starts with Stingray, who's a total C-class hero. He's part of Deadpool's Merc for Money story. He's fighting Tiger Shark, and then Namor ends up seeing this, and he's like, "Whoa, why are you guys fighting when, you guys should just be on my team?" And they're like, "Well, no, I don't." And Stingray's like, "Hell no, I'm not." He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "But I'm doing my thing." And Namor's like, "Oh no, you're either with me or you're against me right now. Shit's going." Yeah. Yep. There's no neutral here. Mm-hmm. And he murders Stingray. He does. He kills him. And obviously at that point, Tiger Shark's like, "I'll be on your team." And then it flashes forward to the Avengers. And Namor is fighting the Avengers at this point, and they're trying to arrest workers from the Roxxon Corporation who had this toxic spill and killed a lot of Atlanteans or whatever. And Namor's like, "Arrest? We killing these motherfuckers." And Avengers are like, "No." So they're fighting Namor, and Namor is kicking their asses. And then eventually Captain America comes up, and Namor's like, I respect the shit out of you.
Like, that's my boy, Cap. It's my boy.
But he's like, I'm not gonna fight you. He's like, I will stand down. But get the fuck out of here. And that's... Yeah. It's kind of how that little scene ends. But then, what is it? What happens next? Oh, Namor later finds that a bunch of Atlantean children, because it's a wasteland right now because of this Roxxon spill. They like lost faith in Atlantis, and they sought out refuge on Earth, and they died on land. And Namor at this point is like, holy shit, my people are losing faith, and then they're dying on land, and he forms, and then it kind of goes back to the team he's recruiting, which is the Defenders of the Deep. That's what he's recruiting, is he wants to take on, eventually he wants to have a team to go up against the Avengers. And obviously, Tiger Shark is no, but they're better in the water and blah blah blah. So yeah, anyways, that's what this story is about. I cannot hype up this story enough for what it was. I think this is exactly how comic books should need to be written. It is amazing storytelling from beginning to end. I gave it a full 10 out of 10.
Wow, yeah, I have had really high remarks. I believe I wrote up to the 4th one right now, and I'm hoping to be caught up soon. But
dude,
I'm glad to hear these high remarks. It's a story that I've definitely been enjoying from start to finish so far, and of course the artwork just definitely does it justice, and it just seems to be flowing. It's of course the characters that I know, the characters that I remember, the characters that I love, and it's just bringing them up to speed, bringing them back into the action.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, we don't see Namor enough. So, I mean, if you like Namor, this is the story for you, for sure.
Well, we're getting close to the end of your pool list, but of course, what week is complete without Infinity Wars? What do you guys say about this next one?
Yeah, man, the Infinity War event carries on with issue number 4, written by Jerry Duggan, Mike Diodato Jr., and Frank Martins doing the colors. Diodato and Rain Barreto did the cover on this. It's a pretty sweet cover. It's got Arachnite and Iron Hammer and the Sorcerer Supreme and Weapon Hex all on the front. And
now, before we dive in there too deep, you've been talking a lot about these weird names for characters. This is all part of the Infinity Warps, which has been, that's them taking two characters and molding them together.
Yeah.
I have been loving those. And is this any indication on how well those are going?
Yeah, no, we definitely see some some more cool mashups on here, some new introductions of some mashed characters. Pretty much right now Gamora has all of the Infinity Stones, and instead of snapping and killing half the universe, he just like mashes half the universe with itself. So that's where you're getting all these mashup characters and everything. But this story starts out with Loki meeting with another version of Logan that is mashed up with Emma Frost, who has the Phoenix Force.
That sounds so cool.
Dude.
So cool.
Right. So in all these other universes, Requiem, which is pretty much what they call Gamora with all the Infinity Stones, they just call her Requiem. She's going around all these other universes and just killing all the Lokis, because Loki is a threat to her at this point.
Sure.
And so Loki is out trying to recruit his own team, and he's coming across all of these mashup characters, and he ends up he ends up somehow just pulling Emma Frost with the Phoenix Force out of Logan. Like, he's able to I forget how he does it, but he's able to separate the characters that are mashed up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So out of that little mashup there with Logan and Emma Frost, turns out he wants nothing to fucking do with Logan. He just wants Emma Frost.
Wise choice.
Another mashup is Miss Marvel and Kang. So
Really?
that's a cool mashup there.
Ah,
And then
that is going to be exciting.
Hulk and Ant-Man as a whole.
Right. The tiny monster, the little monster. Yeah,
Yeah,
I loved
man.
that. That was just great.
But we get to see some stuff out of Adam Warlock in this too. Like,
Yeah, that's a character that I'm becoming increasingly interested in, and not one that I have a whole lot of knowledge about. So, I'm looking forward to seeing more about him.
yeah, man. I mean, I without giving away everything in the story, I mean, it's totally worth checking out. It's an event, and it's one of Marvel's stronger events that I've read it in recent. To be honest, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Infinity Wars #4.
Excellent. So I think we're getting close to the end. I think we only have one or two more of yours that we need to talk about. Now this next one is one that I haven't read, but I do have the one right before it, and you said you don't. We're talking about Spider-Geddon #1. They've been doing an interesting lead up to this event with 432 and then now 1.
Yeah, no, the Edge of Spider-Verse is what they did.
The Edge of Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Edge of Spider-Geddon.
yeah, that's what it was. My bad. Edge of Spider-Geddon. So now we got Spider-Geddon #1 here,
Right.
and it's written by Christos Gage. Dan Slott was a big part of the story, which is cool because he's the former writer of Spider-Man. Now he's doing Fantastic Four and Iron Man, which is cool. And then Jorge Molina on art with David Curiel doing the colors, and Molina did the cover as well. Oh, that's a sweet fucking cover
Yeah, I just
too.
hand him #0. Hey, go ahead and borrow that. Read it. Catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that on my pull list. But anyways, this one it's pretty much the Inheritors, which are essentially immortal bad guys or dimension traveling vampires.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're being threatened to be released back into the world after a long slumber because Superior Octopus has some of their technology, and he's got these cloning tubes going on or whatever. They don't really. Maybe it's because I didn't read Spider-Geddon #0. I totally missed something for sure, but nonetheless, it was some. He was getting ready to do some bad shit, and then all the other Spider-Men and women show up to stop him, and there's a really cool fight between Superior Octopus and a few of the Spider-Men, and then just right on cue, as soon as they show up, the Inheritors are actually awakened. And I'll be damned if some people don't die. Spider-Man Noir, which is like a black Spider-Man with guns, and he's got a really cool costume. He's like a super spy looking Spider-Man. And then what do they call him? Spider UK, which is a mashup of Captain Britain and Spider-Man. So it's just an ultra
awesome.
strong, powerful Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they die.
Oh, great.
So there's no no holding back on this one. I really like that about this story. So I'm excited to see where this story carries on from here for sure. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Excellent. I'm real excited. I've got that one right in front of me, but so many books to read, so little time.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let me ask you one serious question, Brian.
It's not allowed on this show, man.
Would you give me your honest opinions? What if Peter Parker became the Punisher?
You have Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, 2.0. I understand. Kill one off, make another one. Why not?
Essentially, I mean that's really what I feel about that. It's Spider-Man Noir. It was so yeah. What if Peter Parker became the Punisher? The What If series is making a return, written by Carol Potts, Winan Ramirez on pencils, and Rachel Rosenberg doing color. The art was just fine. I have nothing to say about the art on this. As far as the story goes, I don't know what the hell is going on. Gwen Stacy's alive again, and Peter Parker uh, is the Punisher, I guess.
I
And
mean, that sounds like it has a lot of potential. You know, a web slinging, crazy
yeah,
Frank Castle. Like, yeah,
he's got instead of web shooters, gun shooters. That sounds like
okay,
a redundant. But
okay.
like his guns fire from his wrist. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna
So
lie.
like true demon horns in a serious metal fashion, just bang, bang, bang.
The thing is like I don't feel like he's really the Punisher because he's
No.
not ruthless. Like he still has a lot of morals to him, and I don't know. Like they touched on. It was pretty much like a retake on the origin story with like Uncle Ben and all this other stuff. And
So do you think this is more accurately a what if the Punisher had moral values?
um, no,
No, no.
no, no, because it's still very much a love story as well.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's what if Spider-Man had a skull on a black suit and had guns for wrist shooters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't discredit the book. It's just not the story I thought I was going to get for sure.
Well,
I gave it a 4.
maybe it did a good job of showing just how unexciting Peter Parker would be as a Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah. What if? Well, no. I don't want to see issue 2. What if? I don't know. But I'm not giving up on the what if stories by any means. And that's what I read last week. But there were a few other books I bought I want to touch on real quick, and I call them wall books, and they're really just books I buy just strictly for the artistic value.
Because, you know, the cover caught your eye.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of these books do go up on my wall, so it's not just a random word in front of another word. I promise.
Sure. Another reason to collect.
But the first one was Supergirl number 23. It's the Art Germ foil variant, and it's just it's pretty.
I do like that cover a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. I haven't looked to see what, if it's fetching anything more than cover price, but Art Germ covers tend to go for a little bit of money. And on the same note, he actually had another cover this week too, and it was Catwoman number 4.
Another just beautiful cover.
Dude, this has been this is the 4th Catwoman cover he's done.
Yeah.
In the last few months, and dude. This has been my favorite Art Germ cover by far. It's just a sexy cover. It's beautiful. There's so much detail in it. It's not oversaturated with color by any means. If anything, it's just two-tone.
Definitely. I mean, if this one's any indication how the past few have been, then I think he definitely has a future doing plenty more.
Oh yeah, no, the guy's a master. He's a god for sure. He's one of the most sought-after cover artists out right now. And then the other book I got was Suicide Squad 47. It's Francesco Mattina strikes again. It's got Harley Quinn
I know he's your
smashing.
favorite artist.
Yeah, he's my favorite cover artist for sure. He actually has his own section on my wall. So that's my guy right there. My guy for sure.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, that's what I spent my money on last week for sure.
Well, we have been going on for a little bit now. I do want to talk about at least one that I've been reading this week. It's a brand new entry from Image Comics. It's called Infinite Dark. I did have you read that one. Really, just what caught my eye was, I had this cosmic setting. It's done by Image Comics. I'm loving what Image is doing right now. I wanted to be, able to jump in onto a first edition, and it definitely delighted. It's more of a cosmic investigation set upon this space station where there's very few people left alive, the last of humanity. Security officer has to track down, the first crime of her career, and turns into something a bit more mysterious. And I'm really interested to see where it goes. I'm loving the artwork. Not a whole lot more to say. It's just written by Ryan Caddy and artwork done by Andre Moody.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to following it.
Yeah, I checked it out. I really dug the artwork, and I know the story has a lot of potential. It's kind of a slow first issue for me, but I definitely can see that it's gonna. I don't know where it's gonna go. It's not predictable by any means, at least by my standards. But I know it's. I don't know, but I have a really good feeling it's gonna do some good things for sure.
Definitely. Now, I have another one that I picked up that I would be considered a wall book. It might not be from this week, but it caught my eye. I had to get it. It's a virgin cover of the Cosmic Ghost Rider by Jeff Shaw and Antonio Fabela.
Dude, that was such a cool cover, man.
Yeah, I really love it. It really caught my eye. I knew the second I saw it, I had to have it.
Yeah. Absolutely, for sure, dude. For sure.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about for this week?
No, man. I think we can move on to what's coming out this coming week.
All right. Well, what do you have that has you really excited?
Well, right now, I feel like there's a lot of stuff to be excited for. Let's kind of go down by the label here and start out with Dark Horse, American Gods, my Ansel #7. Neil Gaiman, obviously. I remember reading the first few issues. It's not currently on my pull list now. I took a break from it, not for any good reason by any means. But, as Shadow follows Wednesday around the country, he eventually finds himself face to face with Laura, who lays down some difficult truths about the time she was alive and with him. The Hugo, Bram Stoker, Locust, World Fantasy, and Nebula award-winning novel and hit Stars television series by Neil Gaiman adapted as a comic book series. So yeah, if you don't know, it's an amazing show as well. But yeah, no, that's Dark Horse is probably #1. Next up from Dark Horse is Black Hammer: Age of Doom #6. After the shocking revelations in the last issue, Colonel Weird finds himself as a stranger in a strange land where reality is ever changing. Written by Jeff Lemire, who is another writing god, and artist Rich Tommaso. So yeah, Wednesday, Black Hammer, and I think that is a mini-series as well. So I don't think there's much more left to this story. I'm not reading it myself. Last from Dark Horse that I feel needs to be mentioned just because it's a #1. So
Dragon Age Deception. I was just gonna say we need to talk about that one. I'm definitely interested in that one. I'm a big gamer, so I know all about the Dragon Age story. And hearing there's a comic that's brand new that I can jump into, I'm real excited to see this one.
Right on, yeah. Writer Nunzio De Filippis and Christina Weir look like they're teaming up, and artist Fernando Hines Furukawa. Let me try. Furukawa. Sorry, I don't talk good.
Names are hard.
Yeah. And then Michael Atea on art. Olivia Pride hasn't worked an honest day in years. Once an actress, she now lives by the con, and has come to Teventer, is that how you say that?
Teventer, I believe so.
With a new target, Calix Kintara, the heir to a wealthy house. Once she approaches the young man, she quickly realizes that he is not exactly who he says he is, and she may be in too deep. It says from the same creative team that brought you Dragon Age Knight Errant returns. Yeah, no, a good #1 from Dark Horse to jump on, it looks like.
I think this has a lot of potential. It's set in that fantasy era that I really love, and it could be that like political intrigue. I think it has a lot of possibility.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Let's move along to Dynamite Entertainment.
Okay.
First book I want to talk about is Deja Thoris, Volume 2, #9. Written by Amy Chu, artist Pascal Quilano. Dangers everywhere, even in the air. Outgunned and outmanned, Deja Thoris and the crew of Xantaxian battle the legendary Black Pirates of Barsoom. So it sounds like we got some action on our hands. But Deja Thoris, I'm not reading it currently, but I'm a big fan of Amy Chu as a writer. She wrote one of my favorite Poison Ivy stories of all time. So #9, it's not too deep in. You might want to jump in on that.
Excellent.
Next up is Red Sonja 22. more Amy Chu and Eric Burnham. Artist is Carlos E. Gomez. The Witching Hour. In the latest chapter of Red Sonja's channel travels, the she-devil almost tramples over an old witch on her way back to Hykania, sparking a nightmarish combination of road rage and swords and sorcery. Huh. That sounds pretty
Nothing
interesting.
about that description that I don't like.
Yeah, no, Red Sonja. Coming at you. I did not know that Amy Chu is narrating Red Sonja. That's pretty cool. And then, on the same note of warrior princesses, let's look at Xena. Number 9. Yeah, man. Erica Schultz is writing it, and Vicente Cifuentes is on arts. There can only be one Xena, but you wouldn't think so if she were to happen upon the festival in Dime. Gabriel and Xena mingle among admirers, but some fans can take things a little too seriously. So we got some Xena Warrior Princess happening.
Have you been reading much Xena?
I don't read Xena, no. Could be cool.
Alright.
So yeah, not a whole lot of Dynamite coming out.
Well, I see
this week.
Ghostbusters coming up.
Yeah, we got IDW Ghostbusters crossing over number 7, written by Eric Burnham and Dan Showing doing the art. Several teams of Ghostbusters from across the multiverse have just about pulled off a very difficult task, tracking down and recapturing all the ghosts that escaped from the containment unit. Ooh, crisis averted, right? They wish. In this issue, the Ghostbusters of many worlds come face to face with the goddess of chaos herself. Tiamat has returned.
That sounds very interesting to me. I've always been a big fan of the Ghostbusters.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of nostalgia, Optimus Prime, number 24, written by John Barber and Andrew Griffith. Youth in revolt. As Unicorn approaches, Optimus Prime's colonist soldiers take matters into their own hands. With Autobot forces spread thin, will anybody stand in their way? And more importantly, should anybody stop them? Well, we got a unicorn event coming up in Optimus Prime number 24 from IDW. Next we have Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. So we got another number 1 coming out here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Writer is Matthew K. Manning. Artist is Chad Thomas. It looks like it's heavily based off of the new Nickelodeon series. Well, it does say Nickelodeon at the top, so what do you know? Look at me, Sherlocking it up. A new age of Turtle Mania begins. This new comic spins out of the highly anticipated Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated series. The Turtles are hitting the sewers with brand new weapons, brand new enemies, and a brand new vision. So, for the kiddos probably, why not? Number 1. Get them started.
Definitely.
No, for sure. Next from IDW, we have a Star Wars adventure story. Star Wars Adventures is another more kid-focused type of thing. So we got, who do we have here?
We just talked about this one in the news segment.
No, that's actually a different one. That's Dark Castle. Vader's
Dark
everywhere,
Castle.
man.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
or Dark Shadow, Vader's Shadow, something like that. I forgot. But this is Tales from Vader's Castle. So this is, let's see here, what's it say? Number 3. Tales from Vader's Castle puts a spooky spin on your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away. This exciting weekly series explores the hidden corners of the Star Wars universe and features Rebel stars Hera, Kanan, and Chopper, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Count Dooku, Han Solo and Chewbacca, the Ewoks, and of course, Darth Vader, all under the shadow of Vader's Castle. Fans will be excited to discover the creepy stories by fan favorite writer Kevin Scott, with art by the greatest talent from across the galaxy, including Derek Charm, Kelly Jones, Chris Finoglio, Corin Howell, Robert Hack, and Charles Paul Wilson III. So, we got Vader. Vader for the kiddos, Vader for everyone, Vader for all. Back on the Toidles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 87. This one's for the grown-ups. Writer's Tom Waltz. Artist is David Wachter.
I really like that variant by Kevin Eastman a lot.
Kevin Eastman, man, still doing Turtles. I told you, man. He's... Eastman. So, Battle Lines Part 2 of 4. It's an all-out fracas as alliances form and break down while the Toidles take the fight to Bishop with the fate of alien life on Earth hanging in the balance. A desperate moment for a key character. Well, Turtles still doing it, man. Issue number 87, IDW. They do Turtles well. They really do. Let's see. Let's move on to Image Comics now. We got Cemetery Beach number 2. Written by Warren Ellis, artist Jason Howard. Warren Ellis is one of the greatest comic book writers in the history of comic books. I did not know about this story. I will go back and find issue 1, and this will go on my pull list next week. Mike Blackburn and Grace Moody are trying to get out of the middle of a secret colony of an unknown exoplanet while trying not to make any noise. It's not working out like that. And the outer families of Second Stage are waiting for them. Utopia is kind of murdery.
Wow.
Yes. You know, the thing about this is it says murdery.
Sure.
I'm in.
Yeah, you know, and it has that, like, cosmic space vibe to it, and I'm all about that sci-fi love.
Dude, Warren Ellis is incredible. Moving along, Curse Words number 17. Writer is Charles Soule. Artist Ryan Brown. Charles Soule's another amazing writer. Them Blue Wizard Blues, Part 2. After his epic defeat in the last issue, Jacques Zaquet has realized that... Jacques Zaquis has realized that winning a magical duel isn't quite as easy as snapping your fingers and saying, Abracadabra! He's off to wizard school. Meanwhile, Margaret seeks the truth, and Wizard and Ruby get caught up in the hottest new show of the season, offered with yet another magical variant cover. Curse Words. You know, I know it's a very, very popular title and has a huge following, but I was really late on this. I might pick up some trades and catch up and see if it's worth putting on the pull, because I'm a big fan of Charles Soule as a writer. He's writing Vader right now.
Really?
And Vader's one of my favorite Marvel titles, so...
This is the first time I've heard of this one. This one could be interesting.
Yeah, no, Curse Words number 17.
Yeah. All right.
Moving along, we have East of West number 39. Jonathan Hickman writing and Nick Dragata doing the art. We got a new story arc, The Brothers of Destiny, the army of the prophet masses preparing to conquer the world. I don't know much about this book, but I know it is another one of Image's more popular titles. So.
Definitely. I've actually, upon a friend's request, or I guess suggestion, picked up the first one and instantly fell in love. I'm waiting to read the rest because I've got a trade in the mail. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's definitely one I'm really looking forward to diving into.
Nice. I might have to catch that from you. Moving along, still with Image, we have Gideon Falls number 7, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Andrea Sorrentino. We got another new story arc called Original Sins. After the mind-blowing events of the first arc, Norton digs deeper into the mystery of Black Barn. The secrets of his past begin to come to light. Meanwhile, Father Fred does some digging of his own and learns the hard way that some secrets should just stay buried. So this book was actually picked up as a TV series recently, and we all know the value, maybe not all of us, but when it comes to Image books getting picked up by TV series, the value tends to skyrocket.
Sure.
Walking Dead.
Right.
So Gideon Falls, I think it's going to be a Netflix series, actually.
Excellent.
And a show based off of a Jeff Lemire story could only be It won't be anything short of amazing, I'm sure.
I'm
So,
super excited then.
Gideon Falls might be something worth adding to the list.
Twice now I've gone in and almost picked up a Gideon Falls, but I was just afraid of blindly jumping in because the cover just caught me every time. Very simplistic, but very, very enticing.
For sure. Next up, we have Hit Girl number 9, written by Raphael Albuquerque and Raphael Scavone, artist Raphael Albuquerque. One of them multi-talented motherfuckers. Check out the big brains on Raph. Damn, I love that. I love seeing that. Like Robert Gilroy is another one of those people. Joel Jones. I love people that write and draw comics. This is one that I haven't read, and I feel silly for passing it up when I saw issue number 1 come out. It's now on issue number 9, but we got a new story arc here, so maybe I'll jump in. But Hit Girl's in Rome. Mindy races around the ancient city in hot pursuit of an airport cargo thief and their stolen loot. When Hit Girl finally gets hold of the package, she uncovers a macabre story that leads her deep into the dark criminal underbelly of Rome. So, Hit Girl in Rome.
Alright.
Yeah, man. And the last book I have to talk about from Image, not that it's the only other book to talk about, but trying to kind of keep it somewhat trimmed down here for you guys, because there's
so many books every week.
Oh,
so many books.
There's so many, especially once you start getting into the world of indies and whatnot. But moving along, we have Stray Bullets number 39, Sunshine and Roses. Written by David Lapham, artist David Lapham. Damn, another one. Image is just full of talent, man.
Definitely. They're doing a lot of amazing things right now.
Yeah, this is a book I hear a lot of good things about, but it was one that I was just late to. An ill-advised phone call may spell the end for Beth and Orson. Their only hope might be in an urgent message from an imaginary character. Huh. Well, you never know. So, that is what we have for indies. Let's move into maybe some of your more well-known titles. We have Aquaman number 41.
Going to DC.
Yeah, moving along to DC, we have Aquaman number 41, written by Dan Abnett, artist Vincente Cifuentes and Lan Medina. From the pages of Justice League, the road to drowned Earth starts here. Aquaman is missing and the world has gone to hell. With Arthur imprisoned by Black Manta, Queen Mira is left to deal with the arrival of an alien armada aiming to punish the Earth for the sins of Atlantis. As the comic tides begin to rise, Mira finds herself in a fight for her very life when the flood unleashes new horrors of the deep. Sweet, Aquaman number 41. Next up, we have Batman number 57, written by Tom King. This time they have Tony Daniel on the art. The KG Beast isn't working alone. As the Cold War between Batman and the Russian killer heats up, Batman's nose for mystery gets to twitching when he suspects there's more to KG Beast's attack than initially thought. Not only does this tie back to the court case Bruce Wayne sat on involving Mr. Freeze, there's another villainous Gotham ghoul in play. But whom?
I'm really looking forward to this one. I've recently caught up to Batman to this point, and I'm loving it. I'm on the edge of my seat, just waiting with bated breath what they do next.
Oh, dude, it's been incredible.
Definitely,
it's been incredible.
Couldn't agree more.
Next up we have Green Lanterns number 57, written by Dan Jurgens, artist by Mike Perkins. Hey, they rhyme. Just let's see here. It's Hal Jordan versus the Cyborg Superman for all the marbles in the heat of Coast City. You might recall the last time Cyborg Superman visited that town, things did not turn out
well.
No, apparently not. And according to that cover, shit's not looking great now. The fact that it just says the end on the cover, kind of bum bum bum.
Yeah, it kind of grabs your attention.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we've got Harley Quinn, number 52, written by Sam Humphries. Writist is Sammy Barcy. Trapped in a future he doesn't understand, Captain Triumph can't battle his way out of modern world, as all his efforts lead to disaster that causes him to butt heads and trade punches with his would-be protector Harley Quinn. Can Harley talk her way out of this clash? And more importantly, where's she getting a time machine so she can send Captain Triumph home? Huh. Alright. Harley Quinn, number 52.
Does this tie into the Heroes in Crisis story that we're currently reading?
No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Next up, we have Injustice number 36, writers Tom Taylor. I did not know Tom Taylor was writing Injustice. I will go through and get all of this now. And the artist is Bruno Redondo. Events align leading up to the storyline of the Injustice 2 video game. Gorilla Grodd takes center stage as Earth's deadliest menace, while secretly in the service of the intergalactic menace known as Brainiac. Which heroes will survive to face him, and what role might the imprisoned Superman play as events come to head? Wow. Injustice 2, number 36. It's coming to an end here soon, actually. Based off the video game. I did not know that Tom Taylor was writing this. He's awesome. He's the guy that wrote X-23 very well.
Excellent.
Very well.
Cool.
Alright, it was technically all new Wolverine, but nonetheless, it was so good. Moving along, we have Justice League Dark number 2. That story is continuing. James Tynion IV still writing. Alvaro Martinez and Raul Fernandez on the art. The Witching Hour Part 3. Everything the Justice League Dark thought they knew about Wonder Woman and Hecate has proven to be wrong, and the Parliament of Trees is about to pay the price. Hecate knows this world...
Those nerds are going to just tear us apart.
Yes, they are. Bring it on with your pronunciations. Hecate knows this world isn't strong enough to resist the other kind, so she's going to burn it down and replace it with a world of her own, starting with that ancient grove. So Justice League Dark, continuing on with number 4.
Yeah, I'm all in on this story.
Yeah, it's on my pull list. I'm
Definitely.
enjoying it. Anything that has Swamp Thing involved heavily, I'm all about.
Yeah.
So yeah. Swamp Thing was definitely my draw to this story.
Yeah, I'm definitely pulled in. I'm really captivated by this one. Excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. Moving along, we have Justice League number 10. So just the original Justice League team, or
Sure.
core Justice League team, not necessarily
Boring
original.
old Justice League.
Them damn Justice Leaguers. Writer is Scott Snyder. Artist is Francis Manapul. The Road to Drowned Earth. So the Aquaman story is tying in with this. When Wonder Woman learns that Cheetah gained new powers and killed the Greek sea god Poseidon, that sets Aquaman off on a search for answers, bringing him into conflict with an entity known as the Flood, a herald for long-dead ocean gods with an ancient grudge against Poseidon, Atlantis, and, well, everything else on Earth. Who are those guys? Some very big fish. And you know what very big fish do? Eat small fish. Like Aquaman and his Justice League buddies. So, I am a huge fan of this run. I really like the Justice League story. Scott Snyder's doing a great job, and it continues to stay on my pull list. I'm looking forward to reading this. I am.
I'm really looking forward to reading this next one for sure.
Yeah, another one that's on my pull list currently is Nightwing number 51. Writer is Scott Lobdell, and artist is Travis Moore and Gary Brown. After the cataclysmic events of Batman 55, our hero doesn't remember training to fight, being a member of the Bat family, or being a superhero, and he could not be more content. It's his life, and he's happy to just live it with new friends and a roof over his head, wherever that roof might be. So when Bloodhaven finds itself without a protector and a new group of vigilantes, pick up the slack, Grayson is more than happy to yield any perceived responsibility to the people of the city. But as things start to spiral out of control, muscle memory kicks in, and he is startled to discover that he is more than just a pretty face. Nightwing a badass.
I mean, after Batman episode 55, issue 55, I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, for
happy
sure.
to see where the story's gonna pick off.
Yeah, no, Nightwing, like I said, it's on my pull list. It's staying on my pull list. It's intriguing. It's very intriguing.
Definitely.
Next up, we have Teen Titans number 23 by Adam Glass. Writer is Bernard Chang. The Teen Titans head to Gotham City, where they must thwart a plot to assassinate Commissioner Gordon. So who is the mysterious... Oh, yeah. So who is the mysterious figure giving Robin his intel, and how does he know so much? Speaking of Robin, is he developing real feelings for the magical Jinn? Or is he falling under the spell of her mystical ring? Meanwhile, more secrets come to light and more drama unfolds, putting Kid Flash and Red Arrow at odds.
I like this. I haven't read any of it yet, but from what I can see, it's a good melding of like characters of old that we know and love, and these brand new characters, and really trying to make a name for them.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I haven't read any of Teen Titans, but I'm sure it's great. The only reason it's not on the list is just because the list is already extremely deep. And at this point, I gotta be a little more picky with what I have time to read. Next up, we have a number one here. It ties into the Sandman universe. That's right, Sandman's back. We have Lucifer number one. Writer is Dan Waters. Artist is Max Fuimara and Sebastian Fuimara. Lucifer is missing, having embarked on a dangerous journey to find the mother of his abandoned son. The Prince of Lies finds himself imprisoned and crippled by mysterious forces who seek to torment him for their own terrible ends. Meanwhile, a car is crashed, two witches blind themselves, a tumor speaks its first words, and perfectly good bowl of oatmeal is left to go cold. Aw, damn.
It's a shame.
So, Neil Gaiman is behind the whole Sandman universe. I'm sure a lot of you know. It's one of the most, well, it's one of the top comic books ever written. It's highly appraised. And he is behind the story with this, but not necessarily writing. So, a good number one to jump on, Lucifer. And that wraps it up for DC. Moving along to Marvel now. We have oh man, what do we have this week? Astonishing X-Men number 16. This one is on my pull list. Matthew Rosenberg is writing, Greg Land is on art. Havoc, leader of the Reavers. What circumstances have led Havoc to side with the bad guys once more, and will it stick this time? I am currently reading this. I like Astonishing X-Men. It's staying on my list. They haven't given me any reason to drop it yet. It's a very strong X-Men title. Moving along. This is a book that is also on my list, but unfortunately I am fairly behind on it. We have Daredevil number 609, written by Charles Soule. Artist is Phil Noto. The 11th hour draws near as Matt Murdock prepares to square off against the kingpin of crime. Matt is forced to ask himself how long he can take his hits against the ropes as Daredevil before he has to hang up the horns. But first, Matt will have to embark on a crusade to free the city of New York from Wilson Fisk's mayoral reign. So it looks like we have a classic Daredevil Kingpin showdown.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, for sure. I really need to get caught up on that so I can read that every week. I'm a big fan of Charles Soule. And speaking of which, we have more from Charles Soule this week. We have Darth Vader, number 22. Artist is Giuseppe Camuncoli. Sorry, dude. The tale of Lord Bowman. Plans are drawn, a foundation is laid, and darkness rises on Mustafar. This has been a very, very strong series by Marvel all the way through. There's very few weak issues out of these 22 issues, and I feel like the last 5 or 6 issues are just getting stronger and stronger. So, very.
As a big Star Wars fan, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one that I'm definitely gonna pick up the trades.
Yeah, for sure. And it's worth it too. It's worth every penny. Let's move along to we have Infinity Wars Weapon Hex #1. So this is a part of the of Infinity Warps that we were talking about that tie into the Infinity Wars.
Definitely.
So this is Weapon Hex, who is a mixture of X-23 and Scarlet Witch. So this is written by Ben Aker and Ben Blaker. Sorry, I had to pause on that for a second, let that soak in. And Gerardo Sandoval on the art. In a dark weapons program breeding subjects specifically for magic use, the 23rd attempt, now called Wanda, was finally able to connect to violent magics, making her one of the deadliest people on the planet. These warp stories have been awesome, and it's staying on the list. There's no reason. Definitely checking that out. Next up, we have Life of Captain Marvel #4. This is a mini-series. I believe it's coming to an end here soon. I'm not sure if this is the final issue or it's within the next couple of issues for sure. But Margaret Stoll is writing, Carlos Pacheco and Erica Durso are writing. It was an accident of fate, whiskey, mysterious bonding between a superhero, a human, and an alien machine. Marvel and the psych magnetron that gave her Kree powers have been part of Carol's story since the beginning. But that's just the story that you know. A true tale of Carol Danvers and her journey to becoming Captain Marvel begins years ago on a star-filled night in a sleepy town, a night that no one knew would change the world. So pretty much this is a new origin story for Captain Marvel before her new series launches soon.
Sure.
I'm not reading it. I'm not a fan of Captain Marvel as a character. I feel like I get plenty of her in the Avengers, so I figure that's just $4 fewer that Marvel gets from me.
Oh, alright, yeah.
I hear great things, though. I do. I hear great things. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just one that I passed up on. Next up is Marvel Zombie #1. W. Maxwell Prince is writing, and Stefano Raphael is on the art. New from the House of Ideas, Marvel Zombies is back with a twist. Years after an incurable zombie virus ravaged the world, a small colony of survivors is protected by the Marvel U's few remaining heroes, including Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Falcon. But when their last chance at salvation arrives, will they be willing to sacrifice their own humanity in the process? From the twisted minds of Ice Cream Man writer W. Maxwell Prince and Stefano Raphael come the next macabre obsession of fans of The Walking Dead and The Road. Parental advisory. And sold.
Yeah, I'm an instant in. If they can do an undead Marvel and if they can do it well, I'm all aboard.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. Alright, next up we have Old Man Logan #49. Ed Brisson's writing. Ibrahim Roberson on art. This is coming to an end soon. I think they're going to end it at 50 since the return of Wolverine. Like, Wolverine is back, so I think they might kill off Old Man Logan now. Or at least kill off his run of comic books. I don't know what they're going to do. But the Maestro made a terrible enemy. One who can take all the punishment he can dish out. One just as stubborn as he is. The man named Logan. I got another parental advisory on this one. I hear amazing things about this run. I just jumped in too late. So, I didn't find time to catch up, but
Might be a good choice of trades.
Yeah. With it, I believe it's coming to an end very, very soon. I think they're gonna end it at 50, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sure someone will jump down my throat if I'm wrong. But yeah. Moving along, we've got Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, number 311, by Sean Ryan and artist Juan Frigeri. This is a tie-in to the Spider-Geddon event. That means that I have another book that I forgot to add to my pull list. A few spider villains. Yeah. Man. Few spider villains fill Peter Parker with fear at the mere mention of their name. Morlun is one that gets Peter quaking. The Inheritors are back, and Morlun has set his sights on Peter Parker and Peter Parker alone, and will not rest until he's destroyed the one spider who has ever bested him. So, I bet you it's a pretty good issue. Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, number 311. Moving along, we got a number 1 here, highly anticipated. I don't believe that she has ever had a run of her own. We have Shuri, number 1, by Nde Okorafor and Leonardo Romero doing the art. Following in the footsteps of the Black Panther, the world fell in love with her in the movie. Now the Black Panther's techno-genius sister launches her own adventures, written by the best-selling Afrofuturist author Nde Okorafor and drawn by Eisner-nominated artist Leonardo Romero. The Black Panther has disappeared, lost on a mission in space, and in his absence, everyone's looking the next in line for the throne. But Shuri is happiest in a lab, surrounded by gadgets of her own creation. She'd rather be testing gauntlets than throwing them. But a nation without a leader is a vulnerable one, and Shuri may have to choose between Wakanda's welfare and her own.
That could be good.
This book is gonna be hot.
A chance for a lesser-known character to really shine on their own.
Oh yeah, no, this book gonna be hot. Moving along, we have Thor number 6, which is also on my pull list. Writer is Jason Aaron, artist is Christian Ward. So, boys and girls, I would just like to add that there are so many haters on this book, and I just want to say, fuck you. This story is amazing, and for you to not read this just because you did not like the former artist's art choice, you missed out. You missed out. You're an idiot. And I just want to say you're a fucking idiot. You got your wish. Christian Ward is now the artist. I don't know off the top of my head any of his work. I'm sure he's incredible. But this story, I'm sure, is just going to take off in sales now. Jason Aaron he's, like I said, I'm pretty sure he's my favorite.
Wow.
But moving along, I just wanted to add that in there. All you little mealy-mouthed trolls got your wish. And I mean that with full disrespect. All-Father Thor faces his doom. If you thought Old Man Phoenix was crazy, then wait till you see what we've done to Marvel's greatest villain. It's the end of the universe and the return of Doctor Doom. A Doom more powerful than anything that has ever lived. Get ready for the greatest battle the far future has ever seen as Old King Thor and the Phoenix Wolverine stand together at the end of time against an army of monsters and the final Doom! Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Jason Aaron's writing this story? I'm already picking this as being the best book of the week. This will be my book of the week. For sure. For sure. Next up, we have an annual. We have Venom number 4. And we actually have an annual written by the story's current writer, too, which seems to be a rarity these days. Written by Donny Cates, along with various other writers, and Ty Walker, along with the various artists as well. For the first time in Marvel history, the wicked webslinger called Venom gets his very own annual. This one features a few walks down memory lane from some of the best creators in comics today, and even a few surprise guests from Venom's past. serving as a great jumping on point for readers new and old. This one issue of Venom you can't afford to miss. So, that tells me that we are going to have some classic Venom artists throwing down in there. There's one name that comes in particular that I'm just going to speculate on, is we might get a page out of Todd McFarlane.
Oh, really?
Well, we've never had a Venom annual before. This is a big deal. I'm going to be talking about this book in another segment. This is good stuff. I'm very excited about this. Obviously, on my pull list.
Excellent.
Moving along, we have Weapon H #9 by Greg Pak and Villanova. I'm gonna just destroy these names. The days of the lone fighter are gone. Weapon H assembles a team to take Weird World. But even with Titania, Man-Thing, and a brood human hybrid named Blake, Hulk's old friend Korg, and a mysterious Roxxon fighter named Angel on his side, Weapon H may find himself outclassed. Because Roxxon's been keeping secrets, and one of them is about to wake up. Wow. This is another ongoing story that's awesome. I love Weapon H. It's a really cool story. Dare I say I like Weapon H more than the Hulk? I dare. It's really good.
Yeah, I haven't read a whole lot. I think I've seen like 2 random issues, but I like it. The character seems interesting, you know.
And I like that he's like forming a team now, and like on this team is Man-Thing, which is like one of my favorite B-listers, and Korg, who stole my heart in the Thor movie. So that's just awesomeness right there. Next up, we have more from the What If stories. We have What If Ghost Rider #1 by Sebastian Gerner and Casper Wingard as the artist. You've only heard whispers of the real world Marvel Universe crossover until now. When moral decline and budgetary shortfalls have combined to lower our lawyers' resistance, Sebastian Gerner recklessly bring you the tale of the first and only true Nordic black metal band to visit the Marvel Universe through the insanity of likeness release waivers. What role does Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes play? And will your mind survive the brutality?
Looking forward to that. That could be a really interesting read.
So fucking in. Ghost Rider, metal, bam.
Definitely.
Last but not least on the list for books to talk about coming out, we have X-Men Black Mystique #1. Writer is Shannon McGuire, Zach Thompson, and Lonnie Nadler. Artist Marco Failla. That's so Raven. What's a day in the life for Raven Darkholme, aka Mystique? Brutal kills, revenge-fueled chills, seductive thrills, and that's all before breakfast. Award-winning author Shannon McGuire and rising star Marco Failla take Marvel's multifaceted mutant murderous for a spin, plus part 3 of the X-Men Black Apocalypse story. So I am subscribed to all of this X-Men Black. Mojo, as good as that story was, sold me.
Yeah, they've been excellent, fun little one-offs.
For sure. Absolutely.
Well, Brian, I suggest that we take a break before we come back with our last but not least segment.
For sure.
All right. See you after the break. And welcome back, everybody. We are now to our last segment, which in-house we like to call speculation. This is the part where you, as collectors, hey, what's going to be worth a lot of money? And this is what, Brian's and eventually my thoughts will be on what's going to be the new, up-and-coming hot take. What's going to be worth flipping here in the future. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead and take us away?
Yeah, no, there's a couple of books. And like I said, this is also, I can't by any means, obviously promise anything that I speculate on is going to be accurate, but based off of recent trends and things like that. I know that I've been disappointed in the past by missing out on books because I didn't have a reliable source telling me, giving me, hot takes, I guess. I guess that's not the technical term for that, but yeah, so I want to maybe be that person.
Now, I guess to clarify, this is no inside knowledge. This is just, two fans taking a look and making the best guess.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much strictly based off of trends. And first thing this week, we Shuri #1. We talked about that. It's out by Marvel. She hasn't had her own series before, and with the popularity of Black Panther and what that did, I have a feeling this book is going to do very well. It's not going to be a book to retire on by any means, but I feel like a lot of the variants are going to do very well. I don't know. Depending on the print run, I have a feeling it's not going to be a super high print run. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. I don't know where to find that information. If anybody has the information on where to find print runs of books, that would be super appreciated.
If you happen to work at Diamond, please give us a call.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I think Shuri, may be worth making a couple of, or yeah, you could make a couple of bucks on it. And the other book this week is the Venom annual. Venom's never had an annual before, and there's some unannounced Venom surprise artists that are going to be jumping in there. And I mean, honestly, I think it'd be silly if they didn't have something related to Todd McFarlane. I mean,
yeah. Now that's a wild guess, but I mean that'd be really interesting to see. I hope it's true. You've given us two choices that could be the start of something very epic to come. I think these could be solid choices.
I don't know. Like I said, just check your eBay and trends and whatnot. But I don't know if there's two books that I think may increase in value beyond cover price after it hits the shelf. I think those are the two. But that's what I have to speculate on this week.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the show. We thank everybody for joining us for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah, we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Again, thank you very much to Brian for being here, and thank you to everybody listening to podcast services around the globe, whether you be at home, work, or in the car. Now, again, we have been drinking on this show, but we do want to let you know, please don't drink and drive. Please eat responsibly. We'll see you again next week.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, see you guys.
Cheers, Brian.
Cheers.